Welcome all you plus 2 comedy modifiers back to the stream. Welcome back to Solving the Witness, a laid-back annotated Let's Play, where we try to discover the deeper underlying meanings of Jonathan Blow's The Witness. Before we get started, is this how I should start the Let's Plays? I always start with reading the comments from the previous video. Should we jump right into gameplay and then I do that at the ending? Or should I start with just me talking into a camera for 5 minutes? I'm worried about watch time all of a sudden, so I'm just curious, should this be saved to the end, or are you happy that I'm opening with last week's video? Anyway, let's start with last week's video. Got a lot of really good comments here. Draken, who recently joined the Discord, says, I do believe that the lady in the lake and the lady in the mountain are supposed to be the same figure. But honestly, it's not based on much. Similar pose, both are female, I guess. Not much to go on here. Hey, you get back to that, the praying angel, glad we agree. Personally, I feel like it's possible that this game is trying to tell a story of love, loss, and grief somehow. But I've never been able to make the pieces fit well enough to have it make sense. I agree that the woman on the mountain and the woman in the lake could be the same person, or at least similar figures. Perhaps they are, the lady of the lake is meant to be a water elemental, and the lady in the mountain is supposed to be like an earth elemental, perhaps even like Lady Gaia. I definitely feel like there's a relationship with the two. I also can't quite put it together. The idea that there is a story here is very interesting, that there is some sort of narrative that we're supposed to learn from the statues. I find that hard to believe. We're going to get into that a little bit further with a comment that's made on the Let's Play itself about how the island kind of works. But the idea that there's a narrative with the statues is a very interesting idea, and we're going to be touching on that a bit more. Draken also talks about the idea of seeing Cthulhu and says, I think seeing truth will drive you mad fits perfectly with the themes of the game. I don't think we're supposed to see Cthulhu here, but it does match the fourth theme of The Witness, which is the search of truth can destroy you. I do like that point. Pedro Paulo then jumps in saying that it is Cthulhu. Also believes that the sticks that I saw look like Pegasus, that the weird thing I see in the distance is a buoy, and that the woman laying down is actually an angel because the lasers make wings. I'm really believing the angel theory. I really like that idea a lot. Mockman brings up an interesting idea. There's that crashed boat that we discussed, and he brings up the idea that perhaps maybe this is linked to the sirens. There is imagery of a siren in the shrine area, and there is the statue in the cemetery area that is very reminiscent of a siren. That's really far away from where we are, so the idea that this was sunk by a siren doesn't make a lot of sense, but it did kind of make me think about the situation more, because he goes on to say another theory. Maybe the lake being a representation of the island, this boat, along with the lady and the kid looking out, is a representation of the Titanic. After all, women and children were the first to get into lifeboats. I don't agree with that, but it did make me think there is a lot of shipwreck imagery in The Witness. We have this boat here that was one of the boats that we actually use. We see that one wrecked on a rock. There's the big orange boat, which is shipwrecked. There is imagery of a shipwreck in the shrine area if you look in the right perspectives through like lighting and silhouettes and such. And then there's the siren in the cemetery island. So there's actually also a piece of the boat that makes it all the way to the lake in the center of the orange boat. So the constant motif of a shipwreck does seem very important. The shrine, I guess because I also see sirens, it makes me think Odysseus. It makes me think the Odyssey. Is it because I'm playing Hades and the Odyssey is currently in theaters? Perhaps. But this idea of being shipwrecked, of being marooned, of being separated from everything else is a constant motif, and I think may lead into, once we get more into the simulation theory about being stuck on the island, being stuck in the simulation, the fact that that imagery is all there kind of ties in with that thought. And that's going to do it for comments. Let's get to the Let's Play.
I'm going to read your question while I... Is it okay to talk about the wood cutting in regards to one of the huge things we learn in an ending? Ooh, I will. I'll address that when you come back. So let me know when you're back. It's so annoying that I opened up that shortcut and then had to immediately do something that negated the shortcut. We got to go back here. That's the shortest walk, I think. Go. I'm stealing this boat from this willow tree. And there's my favorite audio log. Say hi to the praying woman again. We're sleeping. I don't know. I don't know why. I'm assuming that rock is a woman. It feels to me also like there should be more lasers coming from this way. Everything. I mean, the mountain's not centered. The mountain's not centered. The lake is centered. All right. So while we're here, here's another thing I've been meaning to do. Hey, welcome back. To answer your question, if you want to talk about anything in what I am calling the Willy Wonka ending, feel free to discuss the Willy Wonka ending. That's the ending of solving all the stuff over here and getting into the glass elevator and stuff like that. That's something I will probably do at some point. I know it exists. It's just not something I'm doing right now. If I know there's another ending, I do not know anything about it. So if it involves that ending... so while I'm here, the videos that just came out on YouTube are all about these broken paths. And I'd love to really think about why is the path broken here. So I want to get over there and kind of really suss out this map. Here's another one. There should just be... Ooh, all right, so there is evidence that it's broken. Because the big question I kept saying is it broken or is it unfinished? Okay. Yeah, I know what I do in terms of playing these games and stuff. It's a bit strange in that I'm doing this major puzzle analysis and kind of looks like she's falling into the water now.
So this statue, I don't think is really falling. It looks like it's more just reaching out to the water. Now, we know that the intended perspective illusion that takes place is when you stand in the right position, it looks like the woman of the mountain is kind of holding hands with this woman. But from another perspective, it does kind of look like she is reaching down into the water, and then you see the reflection reaching back up. This, in my mind, could be an allusion to Narcissus. Narcissus is the Greek... I don't know if he's a god. I've been playing Hades too. But he is a character in Greek mythology that is so vain that he falls in love with his own reflection looking down into the water. There could also be, again, a reference to the siren if you take a look at the reflection, and the reflection is now reaching out of the water and to the surface where they could grab men and drag them down to their deaths. They are going to claw out your eyes and drown you to death. So I don't think that's intentional. This is just me kind of like checking all the boxes. I think we know the illusion that is meant to be accomplished with this statue. But, things can mean multiple things. I mean, there's the Tree of Many Faces. Perhaps from a different perspective, this is meant to have a different impact on how it's interpreted. But I don't really agree with that for this one.
That's interesting. But I'm doing this major puzzle analysis, and like the whole thing is solving it, so it sounds like I'm doing an explained video, but I'm also in the dark. Like, it's not so much of like I'm the expert, let me explain everything to you. It's meant to be more of like we'll go through this together and kind of make discoveries, and it's more about discovery. Discovering the witness doesn't sound as good though. I'm hoping that by the end of this, I have something that I would consider an answer. All right, so I'm just going to continue to investigate this area a bit. So that's just over here. Like, it's not super gatekeeping anything. This area is always the most frustrating to get around. I don't know why I came here. And this one's super not gatekeeping anything. Unless there's a way I could move those bridges here, but I don't think I can. Because I can spin these if I want. But I can't strand myself. I can't just separate the middle one. And then, of course, there's this mystery which is yet to be solved. Hey, Pedro. I don't think I did this environmental. But I've talked about these purple containers for a bit. And I kind of want to just take note that, yeah, it's not on the other side. I mean, I think the entire purpose of it is so that when I stand like this environmental puzzle doesn't work.
I hate this. So, if you look at the side of this bridge, there are these weird purple containers. And if you take the full one, a space that has a purple container, and make it a 1, and take the ones that don't have a container and make it a 0, you can then turn that into hexadecimal and you get Becca. B-E-C-A. Not spelled correctly B-E-C-C-A, just B-E-C-A. Now, this has been interpreted on like The Witness on Reddit and things like that as like this hidden message, this hidden Easter egg. I personally think this is a coincidence. I did some more research. I do not see any tie to someone named Becca to Jonathan Blow. I don't really see someone named Becca, especially spelled incorrectly, involved with any of the mythology that we see in terms of Christianity, Greek mythology, Arthurian lore. I don't see any Beccas to be found. So what could Becca mean? Well, since it's hexadecimal, I thought maybe we could take the 4 characters of Becca, B-E-C-A, and add 2 zeros at the end, and that would give us colors. If you do B-E-C-A 00, you get like a sick yellow color. And if you do 00 B-E-C-A, you get like a sky blue. If it happened to be the purple, I would say, oh, that's a fun little Easter egg. I don't think this is the way to go about things. The only other thing I could think of is B-E-C-A are all notes. They could be music. It would sound like this. Try that again. Let me slow that down a little bit. So I listened to that a few times. My first thought was, hey, is that the opening sting to the Up theme? Da, 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 da. It's not. I looked into it, but that was what it was invoking to me. I couldn't find anything that like really matched that music pattern. Since it's only 4 notes, you'd think it appears somewhere, so I decided to compare it to the only real song in the game, The Hall of the Mountain King, to see if that note repetition of BECA appears in the song, because maybe that would be the beat that we need to solve the challenge on for some sort of special thingamajig. No, that series of notes does not appear in Hall of the Mountain King. I personally believe that this is all malarkey. I don't think Becca means anything. Do I think that perhaps there is something hidden in this particular asset? Maybe. It's very unique. I know that it is a environmental puzzle, but the fact that there's like sometimes there's a purple container and sometimes there's not, and it seems to be random, makes me think that there could be some substance here, but I don't see how we were supposed to draw to look at this, make it binary, and then make it hexadecimal. Like that to me is a confusing choice to have the player make that leap in terms of interpretation. So I don't think Becca's the solution to whatever this is. I think there could be something here. I don't think it's Becca. And I want to take a brief aside as we are continuing on with this search. The warning against AI for a second, because as I was researching this to see if there was any new development in this area of the game, AI spit out this weird thing where it told me that Becca was the name of the asset in the game of a tree stump. And I was like, that's interesting. As I looked into it further, AI was scraping a Reddit post where it explains the Becca thing. And then underneath it is giving information about how there are tree stumps in the game that used to, in a previous version, have record players on them. The record players were removed, but the tree stumps weren't. And it was begging the question of like, if you were removing this asset from the game, why keep the tree stumps if you're not going to have the record players? Which is a great question, but AI is too stupid to realize that those are two completely separate thoughts, the record player stumps and the Becca code, and just ties it together and spits out this absolute lie that the assets were named Becca. So just be careful out there when doing research not to trust the Google AI answer that gets spouted at you, because it's just taking the information it thinks is correct and tying it together based off of a best guess that an algorithm is saying. It's not correct. AI rant over for now.
Like, I think that's the main crux of it. But those purple things seem to be a very important number. After the challenge, this is my first after the challenge stream. Run around the mountain here. I did go back and open the last door because there was a door I hadn't opened. So I have all of the, what should we call those? The windmill flower cups, the flower video things. Why am I going here? This is leading me to the laser, right? Yeah, this is activating the laser. I don't want to be here. The vault puzzles, yes, I have all of those. This one's definitely broken. I really want to take some time and like map out what this should look like. While the ending will answer some of the literal, the why and the what this game itself is, still pretty much up to the player to which, and Blow is still quiet about it. Yeah, I understand, like, I've heard that Blow, I've opened the shipwreck, yes. Like, this is another thing we've discussed before. Because I think this is a direct quote from Blow or something else. Like, if the message, thank you, if the message that we were supposed to be getting from this game could have been explained in a sentence, it would have been, he wouldn't have made a game. He would have made a sentence and wrote it down. It would have been a fortune cookie. The point of this can only be experienced through a game.
I could not find this quote. I believe that I heard a quote of Jonathan Blow saying that he cannot explain The Witness because if it could be explained in words, it wouldn't have to be a game. I scoured the internet looking for it. I also re-listened to a podcast he did with Adam Conover, the Adam Ruins Everything guy. They have a great hour and a half podcast where they discuss this game that is great. And he makes this really good point that I wanted to share with you, or this concept of almost tying the idea of the environmental puzzles to faith.
When an atheist says you should have proof, not faith, right? It's using this modern word faith that's been distorted, right? So faith now we think means believing something that you've never seen proof for, right? Where in fact, and this is hard to explain what it actually means because we sort of have lost exactly the language to talk about it. But imagine you were exploring subjective experience, right? In the way that we were talking about earlier, and you had some kind of amazing enlightenment experience or something, and you saw the nature of the world as it truly is, or you had a feeling of it or something like that, right?
You have a revelatory experience.
Faith, in the old sense of the word, is related to that experience and that feeling, right? It means carrying that feeling forward into your life and remembering the thing that you saw and keeping true to it, right? Like faith in the sense of a relationship still keeps that modern sense of like, I'm keeping true to this partner that I have.
Yeah,
right?
Keeping faith, yeah.
And that's what that word originally meant. It was like, yeah, you saw this thing, just remember that and believe it and keep with it, right? And so it's actually about you saw proof of something. It's not about believing things in the future that you've never seen. It's about remembering and keeping things that you've seen. And so
there is this kind of theme, if you take that interpretation of faith, of once you see an environmental puzzle, of now you have the belief of environmental puzzles and the faith that if you were to go looking for them, you would find more. So the idea that the environmental puzzles represent faith, an aha moment where you now believe in a new thing and have faith you'll find it elsewhere, is a really interesting interpretation. And since it comes from Jonathan Blow, a correct one that we should probably incorporate when making theories.
So I think there's definitely an element of like, this game is what you make it. It is, it's meant to be interpreted and overanalyzed. Because I was actually having this discussion just about Let's Plays in general. I went the entire wrong way. That there's something very nice. I was saying this on the Not Prawn stream, that watching someone else play the same video game as you and making a new discovery is such a rewarding experience where it's like, wow, I thought I knew this inside and out and you just did something I had no idea existed. So I'm hoping that in doing this and having these discussions, we will discover something new about this game. It's about the nonverbal, deep understanding of space. I mean, space definitely comes... I think you mean space as in, like, the area around you, not outer space. Even though there's a very nice quote from an astronaut about outer space. I've listened to... Let's see. I know that there's a great... Just to do some plugs. There's a great YouTube documentary that NoClip did, where they discuss this with Jonathan Blow. And he's real dodgy and cagey, but I don't want to go do these, but I probably should go do these. There's also a fantastic video essay called Devil Horns. Called The Witness is a Great Game You Should Never Play. And it's kind of like this weird, like, praising takedown of The Witness. It's good, though. Because when I was doing stand-up at conventions, I wrote a joke about The Witness, and just because I was obsessed with the game, and it didn't have any universal appeal. Like, no one knew what we were talking about. But the joke was, it's not my best joke, The Witness to me is like cigarettes. I know it's not, like, good for me, and I should stop, but I'm gonna keep doing it, and I kind of want you to do it with me so I don't feel as bad. Orange, blue. Orange, blue. This is a portal gun. Where's the damn movie Cloud? Need you. Alright. So while I'm here, I've done this one. Yeah, that one's fine. I have not done this guy, because I need to figure out a way to do it without going behind this pillar. Basically, I can go anywhere besides behind that pillar, and that one will be fine. This one, same issue. I gotta find a way not to go behind that scaffold. I got this one, but I don't think I have this one that I have to do, because I'm going underneath this scaffolding. So I need to find a way where maybe I go up like this or something. So I gotta redo this one, and this one. Hooray! Also, just as a big middle finger, notice that for these environmental puzzles, it just shows the entire grid, so it doesn't tell you how to do it. Oh, you love... This is my least favorite one. This is the most frustrating. But I'm working on the new Solving the Witness right now, which is still in that marsh area, which is why I want to look around and see how things are broken. You see these flowers anywhere else? White roses.
Let's talk about white roses. So this is some research I did on white roses. This comes from gardenia.net. White roses symbolize purity, innocence, and new beginnings. That one I think is kind of interesting, making them a popular choice for weddings and christenings and other ceremonies to celebrate fresh starts. They also represent respect, reverence, and remembrance. often used to honor loved ones and express sympathy. In romantic context, white roses convey a sense of everlasting love, loyalty, and emphasizing the spirit and emotional depth of a relationship. So the idea that it means new beginnings kind of makes sense since you are kind of like the first of a new group entering the island. We're going to get to that later. The idea of it being purity and innocence, I don't really understand how that would fit into this area. This is an area, the keep is very much a place where it appears like there was battles. Like we see a lot of conflict in the keep. There's the area that does look like where you would like pour oil or hot tar on people storming a gate. There is some like violence in terms of the way the statues are posed in the keep. I believe there's even an area where it looks like there might be some crime, like there might be some thievery about. So the idea that these flowers are tied to purity and innocence, I don't think that's the correct interpretation. These could just be decorations. However, as an English teacher, I do know that they are used often in as symbols of purity in the Scarlet Letter. And also, I wanted to just kind of throw out the idea of the absurdity of white roses as displayed in Alice in Wonderland. In Alice in Wonderland, they paint the white roses red, painting the roses red, painting the roses red to kind of make it fit an ideal. And that felt kind of important to the way that I do things, in that I look at every detail and then try to squish it into an interpretation that I think makes sense. I do think it's very strange to see this type of flora in this area. I just am not sure if it goes beyond, hey, it looks nice.
Fun fact, I have the insight of this environmental watching a Let's Play and seeing that the YouTuber make a definitive answer than me. I just want to point out white roses. White roses in a castle. Oh, yeah, you see them right here. White roses. Makes me think one Alice in Wonderland, where they had white roses, but then they painted them red because she wanted red roses. Okay. I guess I'll do the hardest one first. So I need a way, but this guy's got to go up. Okay. All right, let's think about this. Oh, God. Okay, this can be rotated, so that's good. All right, so I need to not go here. Let me look at where this is blocked. Okay, so I can't go under box 2 or box 4. Okay. So I have to make an L shape without ever going here or here. So, how? I guess I could go down here. No. How? How would I do this? I mean, I guess I could do this. I go around like this. I guess that makes sense. So it would be... No, because I'm still going under it. No, I'd go here, 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 like that. And then I could do the same on this one, and it would be fine. So what am I doing to make that work? I'm walking this line. Okay, I see it. I think that works. I'm already lost. Just hold on, I gotta see how I'm mentally rotating this. I think that'll work. Okay, it's standing up on its end. So there's these blocks, these blocks, these blocks, these blocks. I already see that it's not right. I see that it's not right. Ooh, don't like that. Alright, so maybe it's a matter of... Ooh, I can't ever walk here. That's a huge problem. Oh! No. No, that doesn't work either. I mean, I could I make them touch, maybe? Just kind of boop, 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 boop. No, because they're freaking mirrors of each other. Many generations of human. Wait, I find it interesting that one of the art guys said in a talk that the island is designed to have been inhabited by many generations of human. Really? From cavemen to industrial tech, each leaving their mark. That's very interesting. I'm going to have to find that interview. Because I don't remember seeing anything. Well, maybe. Because, like, the desert area has, like, kind of Egyptian, like, that type of patterns being shown. And then this castle's kind of more modern. Really, the flower building was very modern. This is kind of medieval. That kind of makes sense.
This idea that each area of the island represents a different time period does make a lot of sense. You can actually make a lot of these things. You can take the desert area as more of an ancient time, with like them praising the sun, and there kind of being like a zaggurat in the middle of the desert that's like a temple for like prayer. The keep tends to be more medieval because it's a castle, but on the other hand, there is that whole thing that I keep bringing up in this stream that drives me nuts, is that there's a security guard with a sword and an earpiece, which is kind of a clash of different time periods. The the one area with no puzzles, the weird octagon, which has the Holy Grail, you can kind of take that as like Arthurian times, which is also kind of medieval as well. The Shady Trees area is almost more colonial times. Everything's kind of like woodworked and kind of like very frontier, new worldy. Then there's the quarry where we're doing more stonework and having more machines doing things. And then it's very modern once we get to the greenhouse area, which everything's kind of like more modern. Like there's a lot of lights and there's elevators and the floors are very like modern and clean and things like that. And then when you go into the mountain or volcano, it's very futuristic. Now we're doing things where technology's out of control and we're like creating light bridges and things like that. So the idea that there's different times for each area of the island makes a lot of sense. That does call into question the town, because the town is kind of where it's the center. It's where all the concepts from the other areas come together. So that would also be an intersection of time, which would kind of make sense why the town seems so unfinished. That a lot of the buildings are older and decayed, or not finished being built because timey-wimey shenanigans. This is a great interpretation of the island. It's not just every area of the world where there's a snowy mountain peak and a desert and a forest, but also the idea that it's different time periods. I think that's a great interpretation.
Because it always bothers me that the dude over there has a sword and an earpiece. The GDC talk? One, two, see, I can't. It has to lay down. Like, unless it's thick at the top. Right, that works. Why didn't that work?
I made a box. I don't know why player Noah can't see this, but I accidentally completed a box in this that destroys the puzzle, and that's why it didn't work. I don't know. I'm just being dumb.
Oh. What the hell? I thought when it was right, it... Was that not right? So if I... Hold on, now I'm just confused. This is correct, right? Just being careful. So I can walk across this now, and it won't do anything. Yeah, okay. I guess last time it wasn't correct. But now I'm back in the same damn problem. I want it to be like here, but then I have this problem. Maybe I flipped it. Yeah, I think you're right, actually. Oh, wait. Wait, I'm having a brain blast. Technically, I could move it over one. I think that's what I gotta do. I think I gotta move it over one. Think I can do that without an issue? I slide it here. No, we're gonna intersect. Yeah, that's no good. Yeah, we did this already. Remember, this is bad. Remember how bad this was? It's bad again. It remains bad. How the frick do I do that? I mean, if I stand it up like this, they intersect. If I stand it up like this... I mean, I guess... Ooh. Yeah, I guess that technically works. Hold up. I could interlink them together. Which would just be this. Did that work? I think that's it. Yeah, they're stacked on top of each other. Yeah. Okay. I feel like a smart boy. Could I do all of them before running back up here and getting dizzy? Yeah. Am I going to do that? No. I want the gratification of doing the draw. I think I can do it from another perspective. I think I can get up on that wall or something. Some shenanigans. Right? Right? I still have a big brain. No, I don't think I can get up on that wall. I know I can get up on some of this wall. Excuse me, sir. I was crushed. So I can go here, which I've always thought was strange. No. How do? Let's just look at this one. This one's better anyway. We just need to do this without using that back corner, which I've already solved. Oh, right, I have to walk it though. Oh, and this one's broken. Okay, so without going here, without going here, So strap. Yeah. No, that zigzag does not work. I mean, I could. Well, I could just do that still, and then cut like that, and then down, and we're okay. I think that's right. Yeah. I cut. I do this, and then I come out here. So I still just have to cut out all of those. Which I think I can do by cutting straight across, doing that. But I feel like, oh yeah, I also can't go this way. I can, though. I can do that. Oh, I can do that, but I won't be able to see it. So here's my current thought. All right, I'm gonna just walk back and look at it. Cut here, separate the whites that are here like this. Then I'm only gonna come this far. Okay. Come back and look at this. Okay. So now, if I shadink and then shadonk like that, we should be fine. So again, it's a shadink and then a shadonk. And then we'll end the stream on a positive note. This pillar's gonna be in the way, isn't it? That's my shadink. This is my shadonk. It's correct. No. No, it's not. You can get ahead and tell me that it's going to do that. Okay. It's gonna do that. Okay, so what I do. Right, here's the actual answer. This is the actual answer. Wide. these like this, come out like this, get this, come up. Right. Come here, and then this is going to be ruined. It's ruined. It's all ruined. No, this might work. I don't know about that black tar. That might be a problem. Is that going to be a problem? Also, I didn't do it right, so none of this matters. Damn it. Okay. The whole point of that one being broken, so I just can't do that. Like, huh, ha. I could, hoo, ha, hoo. Just want to kind of look around real quick. So I know that's a white dot and that's a white dot. I have to separate it somehow. I mean, I guess I could. No, I can't do that. Nor can I do. So I can't. This is a no area, and this is a no area. This is a no area. This is a no area. This is a no. There's so much that, like, I feel like if I could just make notes on my screen of, like, the areas I can't go to, like, can't use this. Can't use behind the pillar. Can't use behind that pillar. Cannot use the black goo. Like, I feel like if I could just make notes of all of that. Also, again, we got to discuss this. Somebody broke this. This used to work a lot easier. And somebody broke it. For what reason, we don't know. Someone testing me to make it harder to get into the mountain. Like, I don't know. And the fact that they broke this destroyed what would have been a very easy environmental puzzle.
The idea that the saboteur is also making it harder to do environmental puzzles is especially interesting. Now, the saboteur theory is super unpopular. I've brought it up many times and people really, really don't like it. But it is the idea that there is someone on the island that is making the puzzles more difficult. We blame the saboteur for breaking one of the panels so that it no longer lines up with the shadows. We blame the saboteur for breaking a speaker, making it very hard for you to hear, or unable to hear what would help you solve an audio puzzle. The idea that there's someone on the island that is taking the puzzles and breaking them in a sort of unfair way that is making it so it's harder to solve. And we could blame the saboteur here for making this walking puzzle more difficult by destroying one of the panels. We could also then say that it's making it harder to do the environmental puzzle. With the new concept of the environmental puzzles also having a link to faith, this is a challenge of faith. We know that we can make an environmental puzzle here, but it's now more of a challenge to make that thing possible. It is a challenge of faith. It would have been very simple had that one glass panel been there to make the environmental puzzle we want to make. But now it has become more challenging. And if the environmental puzzles are linked to faith, it is a challenge of faith. I know you don't like the theory that there's a saboteur on the island. As I've played this more, I have started to really dislike that theory. But I've already put it out there, so we go back to it every once in a while. Also, there's no time. Remember that one? That's a fun theory.
I think this one having only one solution because of that many restrictions. Oh, you think, really? Was I just supposed to look at it from a different perspective? Bring up the old answer here. Because going behind that really sucks. Did I do this right? I didn't. So I'm going up and around, and I'm going here. Okay. I can't do this, which would have been the easy way out. That's not needed. I guess I could come up here like this. That kind of opens up some ideas. Oh, no, it doesn't though, because all I'm going to do is end up linking this with this. And I can't go around like that because there's a pillar there. So that's not good. So I feel like this has to be move 1. It just kind of has to be. I mean, I could make it wider, but it doesn't feel like that's helpful in any way. So then I want to come up and I want to cut through here. But then I want to be... Oh, wait. So I can, without issue, do this. No, because this black tar is going to be an issue. I don't know if I can still see the line from here. It's possible I can. This feels very right, actually. Because then I can swing... No, there's no way to swing this well. No. Yeah, there's no good way to do this now. No. I can come down and seal this and then come up and go through. I don't know about this now. Because it involves... is there a way off this crazy thing that lets me do this better? No, this isn't it. This can't be it. This is wrong. Okay. Well, give me your purse. Give it to me. This is the guy watching the murder. All right. It's been an hour, so I'm going to have to get going.
And that's going to do it for this edition of Solving the Witness. Just special note before we get into our takeaways. This is the final episode of Solving the Witness that was recorded with the original batch. Starting next episode, they're going to be recorded on my PlayStation 5 instead of my PlayStation 4, and will be more up to date in life. I'm no longer looking back at something I recorded years ago. It's going to be something I recorded days ago that I'm going to be making comments on. So it's a new situation, a new way of looking at things, fresher eyes going to be looking at things, and we're not going to have the same view where we have chat on screen. It's just going to be pop-ups now because it's PlayStation 5 and that's how it works. So get excited. We're pushing through, and next week we start watching videos in the windmill. So get excited to see if I get copyright flags on those. Takeaways. All right, so in terms of takeaways, we have the alternative view of the woman on the cage reaching from the water. Could this be a reference to Narcissus or to sirens? Let me know. The Becca theory of the purple containers on the side of the bridge. I hate it. I hate it. Do you have an argument for why Becca is correct? Or do you have another interpretation of what this could possibly mean? Please let me know. I don't think it's Becca. The idea of environmental puzzles being tied to faith. I think that's a very interesting concept. The white roses in the keep, do they mean anything? I'm leaning towards no. But perhaps there's something I missed. Let me know. The different areas of the island also being different periods of time. Is there an interpretation in there that I missed? I think I'm pretty spot on with each time that I've assigned it, but perhaps there's something more that I missed. And finally, the Saboteur's theory, which nobody likes. Do you like it? Do you think that there's someone on the island saboteuring your puzzles and also the environmental puzzles down? What do you think about that concept? Leave it all in the comments below. Join the Discord, talk to us there, continue the conversation there, and be sure to subscribe right here to Plus 2 Comedy Gaming. Also, be sure to head over to the Plus 2 Comedy Twitch stream because I will be streaming The Witness very, very soon. And you can join me next time I try to solve The Witness.